Hang on, is my hat alright?
Yes, it's
Get
fine.
a nice jaunty angle.
Alright, so, Drew.
No, hang on. Hey! Welcome back to our little speed shed. I'm Drew from Spin Industries, makers of spin on these wheels. Today we're going to talk about our disc braking wheels and what makes them unbeatable value and pretty special in my opinion. Okay. Well, I've got one behind me. This is a front disc hubbed wheel. It's a Revolution Series 58, and I get asked frequently, why are our rims not disc specific? Because we use the same rim, the same Revolution or DM8 rim, whether it's a road build, a track build, or a disc braking build. And bear in mind that a lot of the demand for disc wheels right now is for road bikes with disc braking. So it's a very good question, and it's born by the fact that the big bike industry is trying to make out that there's a special range of disc wheels. They're different from road wheels. I don't agree. I don't happen to agree. The reason I don't agree is because one of the most important aspects of rim design, especially a wide profile rim like we're famous for, these fat boy rims, is the stiffness up here at what you would consider the traditional brake zone. If you lose material at this part of the rim, which is what the big bike industry is doing in order to save some grams here, you're also losing really crucial stiffness at this all-important transition area, which is from the rim to the tyre. If you lose stiffness here and you save 10 or 20 grams in the process, the penalty is that you lose tyre control. And the great thing about Revolution Series and DM8 Fat Boys is that they perform best at very low tyre pressure, with incredible control, with incredible precision, with huge amounts of grip, and with super comfort as an added bonus, because you don't need 120 psi anymore. You need maybe 50 or 60 psi. Anyway, so the fact is, if we made a disc specific version of this rim, the only thing that we'd change, we wouldn't lose any weight here at this area. The only thing we might change is we might make the graphics a bit bigger. But as they're expensive graphics that we use, they're not stickers, they're not decals, we inlay our graphics. It's a very expensive process to do two different sizes of the graphics, and I'd have to pass that expense on to you guys, our customers, so I don't. So the rim is the same, whether it's a road rim, a track rim, or a disc rim for gravel, CX, or road. There's one other very important aspect of keeping the strength here, by the way, and don't be in any doubt, you can't maintain stiffness and strength here if you reduce the material in it, and that is the only way to reduce weight. The other important thing is that a lot of our disc wheels end up pounding gravel trails and CX circuits, and the last thing you want riding at low pressure on gnarly surfaces like gravel is for any less strength at the rim edge. You want this to be able to take impacts, edge impacts with rocks and everything else, and by doing the way we do it, you can do this with confidence. So what do you get with our disc braking wheels? Well, you get one pair of really great wheels that you can use in multiple bikes, because you get two braking zones. You get a braking zone, super efficient braking zone at the rim, and you get another one down here at the hub. And if I just pull this off our turntable at the moment to show you, here you go, center lock rotor mount on this hub, interchangeable axles. So this is, for example, this is a 12mm through axle, but you can pull that out, and in its place you could put a 15mm converter, or you could put a quick release axle. So you could ride this in your road bike, and you could ride it in your disc braking road bike or CX bike or gravel bike, or you can ride it in your through axle bike. Okay, so interchangeable axles front and rear, center lock disc mount. And the other handy thing about having these axle ends easy to remove is you don't need special tools and special external spline center lock rings like you do with some other hubs. You can use a cassette tool which most cyclists will have in their tool shed or in their bag, and you don't need to use a special disc specific lock ring. Okay, so that was me just putting the axle back in. So yeah, so you can run this one pair of wheels in your road bike with quick releases, in your disc braking quick release bike with a 135 quick release axle at the rear, or you can run it in your through axle bike, so 12 or 15 on the front, 142 by 12 on the rear, or even specialized SCS specific 135 through axle. We cover all those. You can buy all these parts as spares, and you can interchange these wheels from one bike to another. Okay, by the way, we also do a SRAM XD driver or SD driver, I always forget what they call it, but we have those as well. So you could even use these on your 29er mountain bike if you've got a 142 or 135 SCS axle in there. So that means one pair of wheels, multiple bikes. So to answer the question, why is your rim not disc specific? It's simple. Our rim is performance specific. It's aerodynamic specific. It's rolling resistance and grip specific. It's stiffness specific. It doesn't need to be specific for disc or rim braking. And that's why we choose to make our wheels this way. And it means a lot of flexibility. You know, a lot of our customers now have more than one bike, and the next bike they might buy might be a disc bike instead of a traditional road bike. If they order their road wheels today with our disc hub, then they're future-proofing their road wheels for their next bike, which may have a different axle system. This is our disc hub. It comes in this color, smoke, and also it comes in cobalt azure, which is this bright blue color. And you can also have it, these aren't the disc hubs, but you can also have it in raw polished. And center lock we've already talked about. It's pretty similar to DT Swiss's 240S and 180 hubs. And when I say it's pretty similar, I'm talking about the hub dimensions. These are the things that make a hub a good hub or a bad hub, is flange, diameter, and the spacing. Very similar layout to DT's hubs. Interchangeable axles like DT's, but a lot cheaper. Our axle spares are a lot cheaper. If anyone's had to buy spare parts branded DT Swiss, they're in for a shock because they're really expensive. We also use the same bearings as DT Swiss, so these will roll as beautifully as DT Swiss. Okay, so the only difference between our hubs and DT Swiss is really the price, because you're getting here the top level DT Swiss parts and quality at a fraction of the price of their budget hubs. You know, you don't get their 45-point engagement with the 240s unless you spend a lot of money to upgrade it. I think they reserve that for their 180. With our rear hub as standard, you get 48-point drive engagement. And it's Campag or Shimano or SRAM 1112 or however many cogs you've got these days compatible. Okay, so with the multi-axle option, whatever axle you specify on the rear hub, you can always swap it out for a 142 by 12, an SCS 135 by 12 through axle, or a quick release axle like I got here. Swapping of the axles is really easy. You undo the non-drive side using a 17mm wrench, and they just slide in and out. Okay, so here's the quick release axle, and you just pop that out of the hub. There's the free hub. The free hub slides on and off the axle. Okay, and to replace that with a different axle, you just slide that back into your hub, okay, like that, and reseal it. So the hub uses the Shimano center lock standard, so it goes very well with Shimano's Ice Tech rotors, and I'm sure there's other suppliers available, and they literally just fit onto the splines like that, and then you just use a cassette lock ring, or you can use a rotor specific lock ring if you prefer, and just mount that very simply, same way as you do your cassette. So very easy rotor installation. By the way, if you are using these as disc wheels and you want to use them in your road bike, as well as changing the axles, don't forget to remove the rotor first, otherwise this may slice through your fork leg. Once you've removed the rotor, that's a really great road wheel. Okay, so listen, that's a quick summary of our disc wheels. The reason we did this video is we get asked a lot about them. So hopefully that's answered your questions. If you've got more questions, you can put them down below. We'll do our best to answer them. In summary, buy one pair of really great wheels and use them in all your really great bikes. You'll save a ton of money that way and double your fun on all your rides. Thanks for watching, thanks for riding, and buy a pair of these.